Now, tanha is a cause of suffering. How do we know? Tanha, right? This craving or attachment is the cause of suffering. How do we know?
Because tanha has the ability to produce rebirth.
I'll give you a very easy example. It cannot be applied to every situation, but I think it is very convincing. No, tanha, attachment. Nowadays, not nowadays, at any time, people are dying, right? In this city, many people will die today, right? And you go to the hospital and you may see many people dying, right? Or sometimes you hear people die in an accident, or let's say during the earthquake in Kobe, how many people died? Thousands of people died, right? And how did you feel about them? Sorry. Huh? How intense was that sorrow? Not much, right? Okay. If there was someone, what if there was a friend of you among those who died? You may suffer a little more, right? Because your friend was included in those who are dead, right? And what if there is a relative of yours, right? Or what if there is, say, your father, your mother, or for Corona people, your children? How would you feel that time? Much more. Very, very, very sorry for, right? So now we can consider about this. Why is the difference of intensity of sorrow there? If that sorrow caused by the death of the person, or that sorrow is caused by the attachment to that person. It is caused by attachment to that person, not just because the person died, right? Many people are dying every day, and we don't feel almost anything about many people. But if the person who dies is a friend of ours, or relative of ours, or someone whom we love dearly, we suffer more, right? So if our sorrow is caused by a death of a person, then we must have the same intensity of sorrow whenever a person dies, right? But now we have different levels of different degree of intensity of sorrow. Why? Because of our attachment. If we have much attachment to that person, we have much sorrow. If we have little attachment, we have little sorrow. If we have no attachment, we do not have any sorrow, right? So we can find that our sorrow is actually not caused by the death of the person, but it is caused by our attachment to that person who died. So in this way, we can understand that the real culprit of suffering is our attachment. Now, this is an easy example to understand, although it cannot be applied to everything. Okay, the other thing. Suppose there is a boy and a girl. They are boyfriends and girlfriends. And the boy gives a present to the girl. Let us say a ring, right? Or something. And then on her birthday, her parents give her another present. Among these two presents, which will cause more attachment to the girl? Huh? A present given by the one you love dearly, and a present given by a friend, an ordinary friend, even though the present may be this of the same kind, which present means more to you? The one given by the person whom you dearly love, right? So your attachment there, and suppose that present is lost, and you have sorrow, the loss of which will cause you more sorrow. The loss of one that is given by a dearly loved person, or the loss of one that is given by an ordinary person. Yeah, right. Huh? So here also, the cause of your sorrow, the intensity of the cause of your sorrow is not the loss of the thing, but the attachment you have for that thing. So in this way also, attachment is the cause of suffering, and not actually the loss of the thing. And now about this life and past life. Now Buddha said that the cause of suffering or cause of this life is tanha or attachment. Now, mind has great power. You cannot see the mind. Huh? Mind has no body, right? Mind has no substance. But it has great power. Do you realize that? Huh? Mind has great power. Suppose this hand, right? This hand is matter, so it is heavy, heavier than mind, right? We cannot say mind is light or whatever, but we cannot measure the mind. But this hand is a heavy one, right? And I put it down here. If I don't want to move, it will not move. But when I want to move, it moves, right? So the movement is caused by my mind or my desire. If I don't have any desire to move, it will stay put, right? It will not move. So you see, mind has this power, even to move the material thing here. In the same way, mind, the mental state in our mind, the karma, has power to produce results. Now today you offer us food. So when you offer us food, your intention is for us to eat, right? You want us to eat, you want us to be satisfied, you want us to, let's say, enjoy the food. That is your cetana, right? So that cetana has power to give results. So when it gives results, the results will come to you because it is your cetana. So you get the same results, that you will get abundance of food and so on in this life or in future lives, right? So that mental state has a power to produce. Suppose a person is in the habit of killing living beings. So killing living being means he wants that being to live a short life. He wants to cut off his life, right? So he has the desire for the, let's say, animal. Huh? He has the desire for the animal to live a short life. So his desire, or the volition at that time, gives results. Since his wish is for the life to be short, the result produced is a short life. But unfortunately, this result comes back to him and not to other person, because it is his chetana or his karma. So that is why it is said that people who kill living beings, when they are reborn as human beings, live a short life. So karma, the mental state, has this power. Although we cannot see the karma, right? Buddha could see the karma clearly. We cannot see. Although we cannot see the karma, we can guess in this way that karma has a great power. So whatever we do, there is the chetana or volition in our mind, and this chetana can produce results. And when it produces results, the results are mostly of the same kind. Say you want the other being to have a short life, and then the result is you will have a short life. You want the other person to live long, and the result is you will live long, and so on. So this mind has this great power to produce results. So we are always attached to our lives. We don't want to die, right? We want to live as long as we can. If we can, we want to live forever. So there is attachment. And also we have attachment to be reborn as a celestial being, to be reborn in the world of devas and so on. And so those mental states produce results. So we can understand, although we do not see them clearly like on a screen, we can understand that this life is actually the result of my karma in the past, my attachment to life in the past. So in this way we can understand the second noble truth. This life is dukkha, and the cause of this life, dukkha, is the attachment in the previous lives. So in this way we can understand the second noble truth.
Can you say again, this life is dukkha?
Yeah, this life is dukkha, right?
Yes.
And the cause of this life is attachment in previous attachment we experienced in previous lives, not attachment for previous lives, right? Attachment that arose in previous lives. So in this way we understand the second noble truth, the noble truth of the origin of suffering. During the practice of vipassana, sometimes there may be moments of understanding in this way, especially during the stage of seeing the causes. Paccaya, it is called paccaya parigraha, comprehension of the causes. But you need to have some knowledge of the books to understand that. Now when you make notes of the objects, you can come to the understanding that because there is an object, there is a noting. If there is no object, there is no noting. Now suppose you have a wandering mind, and then you are making notes as wandering, and then wandering disappears. The moment wandering disappears, the noting mind also disappears. Now there is no noting mind, noting of the wandering. There's another mind noting another thing. So you see the cause-effect relationship between these objects and your mind. Because you want to move, there is moving, right? So the moving of the hand comes about because there is the mind to move. So because if I have no desire to move, there will be no movement. So this connection as cause and effect you see through practice of vipassana meditation. And then you may contemplate as just as everything has a cause. There is nothing that arises without a cause. So just as everything has a cause, my life, this life must have a cause, and that could be none other than the attachment that I had in the previous lives. So in this way, you can see or you can understand the second noble truth while practicing vipassana meditation. Not as clearly as Buddha saw it, but still we can understand this. So this is the second noble truth. And the second noble truth is the noble truth of the origin of suffering. So in order to get rid of suffering, we must get rid of this attachment. We must get rid of the cause. So long as we are unable to cut the cause, there will always be the effects or results. So if we don't want the results, we must cut the cause. So cutting the cause is more important than cutting the results. You may pick the mangoes, every mango on the tree, but so long as the tree is not destroyed, so long as the roots are not destroyed, it will be producing mangoes again and again. So if you don't want the mangoes, then you have to treat the tree, you have to treat the roots with some chemical so that it loses its ability to produce fruits. So in the same way, if we do not want the fruits as dukkha here, then we have to act upon the cause of this dukkha, which is attachment. So we have to get rid of attachment in order to get rid of dukkha, which is the effect of the attachment. So this second dukkha, declaration of this second dukkha is like a physician telling his patient that your disease is caused by something, or say, I have found the cause of your disease. So once the disease is found, then it is possible to treat the disease or to cure the disease. So finding the cause of this disease, finding the cause of the dukkha as craving is actually a revolutionary idea in the history of religions. So no religion has ever pointed out that craving is a cause of suffering. So whenever they try to find the cause, they ended with the creation of the Brahma or the God. So only Buddha taught us that it is not the creation, but just this attachment to sensual things and so on, that is the real cause of suffering. So once the cause of suffering is known, then we can go about doing something so that we can get rid of suffering. So getting rid of suffering really means getting rid of cause of suffering, right? Not getting rid of suffering itself, actually getting rid of suffering. So once the cause is removed, then the effect is also removed.
you said that like even if you were reborn in hell,
Mm.
you're attached to your life, right?
Yes.
But if you're in hell suffering, wouldn't you want to die quick so you can go to your next life?
Since life is dear to people, not dear to beings, it may be difficult to, because even if he dies from hell, actually he doesn't know where he is going to be reborn. He may be reborn in hell again, or even a worse hell. So there is always this uncertainty where a person will be reborn. It may be something logical to think that since this life is a mess of suffering, he wants to end this life to get rid of suffering, right? But what about the next thing, next life? Will it be a heavenly life or what? Mostly those who commit suicide may not be reborn in the blissful states, because they have what do you call anguish or sorrow at the moment of death. So it is not sure that even though they can get out of this life, the next life may be even worse.
Also, you said this life is dukkha and the cause of this life is attachment arose to the past life. Attachment arose towards what? What were you attached in your past life to? I don't know. I don't get this.
No, attachment to life in general, right? Not attachment to the past life, right? If we have to say, we will say attachment for future lives, or just attachment to life. Any more questions?
Oh no.
You have to remember what you learned today, right? And you can talk with your mother. So today we finished two noble truths: the noble truth of suffering and the noble truth of the origin of suffering. Okay. So tomorrow we will go through the other two noble truths.
You said that the Buddha became enlightened when he realized the Four Noble Truths, like he understood it, like he really understood. So if an ordinary person, like through meditation and everything, realizes the Four Noble Truths, like really realizing, then that person becomes enlightened.
Yeah. So only when a person realizes the Four Noble Truths does he become enlightened. Sometimes enlightenment is described as seeing the Four Noble Truths. So seeing the Four Noble Truths means not just thinking about the Four Noble Truths, not just reading or not just listening to a talk, but experiencing the Four Noble Truths through your practice. Sometimes people have the wrong belief that once they they know about the Four Noble Truths, they have seen the Four Noble Truths. And there are many people who say, we can become a Sotapanna in just one morning. Right? So I can teach you the Four Noble Truths in just 1 hour. And then you say, oh, now I know, I have seen Four Noble Truths. But that is, as I said before, it is not your own knowledge, it is a borrowed knowledge. So that is not what is meant. So they should be seen by yourself or realized by yourself through your own experience or through practice. Okay. To the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Fully Enlightened One, with gratitude and devotion, we pay homage to the Compassionate and Omniscient One, Compassionate and Omniscient One, who suffered for a long time, immeasurable, even by millions of world cycles, doing the practices that are extremely difficult to do, with gratitude and devotion. We pay homage to the Four Noble Truths, discovered, penetrated, and revealed by the compassionate Buddha. With gratitude and devotion, we pay homage to the Sangha, who brought the teaching of the Four Noble Truths down to the present time. With gratitude and devotion, we pay homage to our teachers, who gave us the rare chance to understand the Four Noble Truths by their excellent exposition, without which we cannot understand the Four Noble Truths properly. Okay, please bow down. So yesterday you studied the first and second Noble Truths. The first Noble Truth is the Noble Truth of suffering, and the second Noble Truth is the Noble Truth of the origin of suffering. So the first Noble Truth is the effect. The second Noble Truth is the cause. And in Pali, the first Noble Truth is called what? Dukkha. Dukkha Ariya Satya. So just Dukkha. And then the second Noble Truth is called Samudaya. S-A-M-U-D-A-Y-A. Samudaya means cause. So actually it is called Dukkha Samudaya, cause of suffering. And what is suffering?
Suffering is
Everything in the world is suffering, right? In short, what what are said to be suffering?
Correct?
The last sentence, in short,
In short,
the five aggregates of clinging are suffering, right? So in detail, birth is suffering, aging is suffering, death is suffering, and so on. And then the second noble truth. What is the second noble truth? It is the cause of dukkha. And what is the cause of dukkha?
craving.
Craving, right? So in Pali it is called tanha. Okay. So tanha is the cause of suffering. But is tanha the only cause of suffering? No, there are other causes as well. But here tanha is prominent, so it is said to be the cause of suffering here. So what companions must it have? Ignorance and karma, right? So these three produce rebirth. So what does ignorance do? Blindfolds. Okay. And what does craving do?
It turns you to
It turns the person to. So that means it makes the person attached to, attached to the existence, or to like the existence. And what does karma do? It pushes him into the precipice. That means it produces the rebirth in the next existence. So now we have gone through two noble truths. That means two truths discovered and penetrated and also taught by the Buddha. The first noble truth is like what? A simile. You're not sure? The first noble truth is like a disease, right? And the second noble truth is like the cause of the disease. So let us say Buddha was a doctor, a physician, and the world is the patient. So Buddha examined the patient, the world, and then found out that this world had the disease of dukkha, or suffering. And then Buddha said, there is also the cause of this disease, cause of this suffering. Then the patient wants to know whether this disease can be cured, whether there can be disappearance of or cessation of this disease. So in order to give consolation to the patient, the world, Buddha said, there is the cessation of suffering. And that is the third noble truth. So the third noble truth is the noble truth of the cessation of suffering, the stopping of suffering, or the disappearance of suffering. But when Buddha described the third noble truth, he said it is the cessation of that very craving. Can you find that passage?
What is the first?
Let me see. Yesterday's lessons, about the beginning of yesterday's lesson.
In the description
Yes,
of the cessation.
Four Noble Truths.
It is the cessation of the origin that is stated by the words, that which is of that craving and so on.
Yes. So here the equation is cessation of craving equals cessation of dukkha, right? So Buddha described cessation of dukkha as cessation of craving. Buddha did not say disappearance of dukkha is cessation of dukkha, but he said the cessation of craving is the cessation of dukkha. That means only when craving is removed can there be cessation of dukkha, because we have to deal with the cause if we want to get rid of the effect. So we cannot deal with the effect if we don't want the effect. We must deal with the cause. So Buddha here said the cessation of dukkha is the cessation of craving or tanha. And here our commentator said Buddhas are like lions. So the lions always attack the real enemy or real source of the danger. But the other teachers are like dogs. Now when you throw a stone at the dog will follow the stone and not you, right? You throw a stone at the dog and then he will go after the stone but not after you. So those that belong to other faiths act like that, because when they practice mortification of the body as a means to eradicate mental defilements, now they are dealing with the effects and not the cause. The cause of suffering is tanha, but they do not do anything about tanha, but they are just afflicting their bodies. No, you know the word mortification? So they inflict suffering on themselves. So lying on the spikes, you know the spikes, thorns, lying on the thorns, or standing for a long time, and sitting in the sun, in the middle of four fires and so on. They think that if they do like that, their mental defilements will go dry. But actually that is not true, because they are dealing with the effect and not with the cause. Now Buddha always deal with the cause and not with the effect. So that is why here Buddha said the cessation of suffering is the cessation of that same craving. That same craving means that craving described as producing rebirth and so on.